So I hope you're able to see my screen, right? Okay. So in today's application, we are going to just discuss about a few more topic in terms of like there are different type of like applications you can develop that we have understood in business application studio, and we have tried to build two type of applications: a normal basic Fury based application, another one is a MTA based application. And we have seen like how we can connect to an OData service, and we have able to just display some data. Now going forward, like in the same application in business application studio, I have just displayed data I just close everything from here and go to the normal application. What we have done is not this one, sorry. I'll open the application which is created yesterday, uh, basic Fury app. And I have just shown you two flavor of developing application. With the application, you can take a source code with a reference of SAP demo kit. There's a website provided by SAP where you can see all the latest updated UI5 controls. And you can use any of the UI5 controls based on the supported version if you're planning to deploy in your on-premise system. And also, you can drag and drop by going to this, opening this view with an layout editor mode. Once you open this application screen with a layout editor mode, there you can drag and drop and take in your control and do the data binding. You have also understood a basics of data binding, like an object and aggregation binding. We have binded one specific like a list of Excel's header on the application screen, and it was displayed something like that. So it was basically a list of data and list of table data actually have displayed on screen. So there are different types of like way of representing your data. Like I have just simply taken the list of sales order like this here, and like you might have chosen to display a different way of representing your data. Not only always in a format of a list or a table. Sometimes to make it better represented way, like you have also might have chosen to create some sort of better user experience and create a better look and feel where you can just write some sort of css to make your like application much better in terms of look and feel. But before going to start the css and show you a better way of representing the screen, what will I show you is I will try to show you a few more functionalities first in terms of the data binding. What are the possible ways we'll be doing it, and then actually we'll jump to design in a more appropriate way. So what I have shown you, like whenever you have connected to a database, like as an S4HANA database, we have connected. So what we have seen, like you'll be seeing this manifest.json. Inside the manifest.json, the application or data service that you have chosen at the time of creating the application, that would be coming automatically as a data source in the application. Like in your application, if you'd like to have a OData service to be integrated, you can always check a reference of this manifest.json. It will always give you the reference of that OData service here. If you would like to add a multiple OData service at a point in time, what you can do is, see this manifest.json is there. You can open up with this one is a configured default editor for JSON. I think one second. It's not creating in a different layout mode. But what you can do is you can create one more service manually here like this. You can copy this and you can give a like comma separated in this, and you can also paste this and you can give a different name here. I'm just trying to explain you in this way. Like you can create multiple OData services here by maintaining the data sources in this section, and in this data source you can multiple service has to be maintained. Change the service name here. Once you have changed that, come down to the models, because whenever you are creating or adding any data source here in the application, what is the main point of adding a data source? Definitely to use the data source, to call the data source to the backend system to get the data. How will you call it? If you'd like to call it, you need to create a OData model to call it. Now there is a concept of model here. In the last session, I was talking about the concept of a model. What I told about the model, model is nothing but a kind of a locker where where you can store some valuable stuff. Here, the data is the valuable stuff. So similarly, there are different types of models available in UI5. There is one type of model called as a OData model. So now OData model here it is used to call the OData service. Now whenever you're adding a OData service here, that OData service automatically created one model in the down section. And like whenever you're creating one OData service, there will be a by default model would be generated. So by default means there will be no name of this model specifically. But if you are going to maintain multiple OData models, or you are going to add multiple OData service to the application, then again you need to maintain one more model here by keeping the same way, copy this and then enter here. Once you enter here, but you cannot put two models with the same default model. You need to give some name to the model. You cannot say like ABC is my model, which is the two model are same. You can't do that, right? So which is a blank one that will be considered one as a default model. If you are giving some name, let's say sales, if you're giving a name sales, that means sales become the one of the other model that you have created. But the reference always is that this model reference data source is main service. Main service means it's coming from this one. But you have created one more service, right? Main service one. Or if you are giving it sales data. Now this sales data has to be copied from here and has to be given as a reference to this model. That means whenever you are adding a OData service, what it will do is while loading the application, it will create one model with reference to this main service, which is the default model, and the other model will be created by the sales data service, which would be the name of the model is sales model. This is how you can maintain multiple models or multiple OData service in your application. Now, in your application, if you see, apart from mta.yaml file, there are one more file would be generated. You see this, we have one more file generated. This is called an ui5.yml file. Now, ui5.yml file means what? This is the file where you will be able to have the configuration of the UI5 application in terms of what is the backend destinations are connected, like what are the different like metadata versions are available for this. Like if you are seen like in this ui5.yml file, we're having the backend configuration, the SAP system that you have connected to the application. That system details is just captured into this YAML file, which is named as UI5.yml file. Here you can see like the S4HANA destination that you have used it, that destination information like the URL, the client, everything is here. Also, whenever you are like creating the application at that time, after creating the application, it would be having a basic theme, the theme that you can always see in the index.html file. Index.html is basically contains the theme of the application. That theme is the default theme. You can also see the same UI5 application is using this theme, right? So all those things are actually been there in the UI5.yml file. Now later point in time, let's say you have built the application and somehow or somebody has modified your destination name or the URL, then what you will do? How do you update your application? To update the application, the only way you can come directly here, the modify the destination name. Destination name in the sense not description, the name of the destination. Okay, remember that. And the URL that you have given. These are the two parameters if somebody changed it, or the client if you want to change it, that you can modify it in this YML UI5.yml section. Okay. Now coming back, I was talking about the model point of view. Now I have basically like added one more model, or it is having a default model here. But what we have done then, we have just taken one UI5 control as a list or a table. Then what we have done an aggregation data binding, which like we have used the entire entity set, like the G sales data set, and you have binded with the standard list item. We know the list of data are coming here. That's what it is completely binded, right? Now, if somebody asks you one question, that boss, I don't want to display all the details of sales order here. I want to keep a condition. The condition is the sales order which is having a value more than 300 3,000 only to be considered in this section. Okay. So if any sort of condition somebody introduced in your application to integrate that logic, how will you do it? If you would like to do it, then you cannot directly bind the entire data here, right? If you bind the entire data here, what is the problem? All the details are displayed. You can't control now. You can't put a specific logic to control here now. Now you can ask your OData service provider who has created the OData service that boss, I will pass some query here. Based on that, you filter out the data and give it to me. That might be one approach of doing it. But if you follow that approach, then actually like you have to be depend upon the logic that has been integrated in the backend side. But if you'd like to do in the front end side itself, how do you do it? Like let's say today is one condition, tomorrow they're going to introduce two more other conditions. How do you going to manage those kind of things in your application? Because in day-to-day life, the life would not be so simple like this, always to get the data and display it here. You would be introduced some sort of formatting, you'd be introduced some sort of uh, changing the data set or some put a condition, apply some condition and manipulate the data however is coming from the backend. In that case, always remember the best approach we generally follow, like whenever you come and just come to the application, whatever we have seen till now, we have seen the UI5 view1.view.xml. Remember one thing, I told you yesterday, whenever a view one on view is there, to run the business logic for that view, there should be one more controller with the same name or any name. Once I like open that controller, what I can see is this. Forgot about this code now. So once you open this controller, what you can see here is this controller is having by default like one function called as on init. What is the function here? The function is basically some like in a very simple way to understand. Tell me one thing. There's a button. Okay, there's a button on the screen. Now, if you click on the button, something to perform, like it has to execute something. Now, there might be one button or there might be multiple buttons. Now, you cannot write multiple buttons code into a single piece, right? Because multiple button you might ask to perform different actions. So that means whenever you are going to perform any specific event or a specific like specific event or specific function, you know, to define that function inside a code base, right? Like this button click is going to do this kind of job. This button click it's supposed to do perform this kind of job or this kind of code to be executed. Now that piece of code you are entitling under a function. How to define a function? Always remember, it is always like the function name colon function, and function is represented by braces open and close, then one curly braces open and close. Now what it is doing is function name, any function name you can give it here, colon function, it has to be hard coded like this, and function always denote with the braces open and close like this. Then it has to be open one curly braces open and close. Like whatever the code you are going to write it, it has to be written inside this braces. Okay, you can write any number of code in this. Okay, and whenever whatever the name you are giving it here, that name you can use it for any like operation in your view. Let's say as an example, if you're having a button here, now I'm going to open this up in a editor mode also. Let me open up SAP demo kit here as well. Now I've opened this view.xml in both code mode and editor mode as well. Now I'm going to show you how to use a function. Now, if you see here, there's a button I need. This button I'm dragging it and I'm keeping at the top of the page. Okay, and I'm click on save button. Once I clicked on save, if I go to this view, see automatically one button has created here. So once you created a button, to see the screen, there is a button came at the top. Okay, I'm giving the name of the button as there's a text. Text is basically what is the name it is displaying on the button. You are changing it to calculate the total sales amount. I'm giving a big button name, calculate the total sales amount. Okay. Now, if I save this out here, automatically what it will do, it will change the button text to that, calculate something. Say calculate the total sales amount. Now, if you click on this button, nothing is happening right now, right? Nothing is happening. But if you click on this, you would like to summarize or sum this entire price or whatever it is here and display it somewhere. Now, how do you do it? Now, first of all, if you would like to click this, then some event to be fired. There are something to be fired that like boss, it is triggering something to do something. How it will do it? There is an event available for the button here. If you see, come to this API reference and just check button. Click on button. Go to the button. Now, if you see here in the button, there are different properties are available. Like you can give an icon, you can enable or disable, you can give a text. See, I have used a text. I can use an ID. I can use basically one icon. I can also able to use some text directions type. There are different type of buttons are available with all these things are available. Like if you see, if I give it if I give it your text I have given, if I would like to give it icon also I can give it. So automatically the icon is coming. If you would like to give it with it is coming. Now similarly, there is one more property available called as event property. If you would like to click on the button, then this is the event to be fired, which is named as phrase. How will you fire? See this. This brace can be also used as a property here. See, automatically brace is coming, but it is coming as a firing option, kind of an event option. See, automatically coming. You need not to choose anything. It's automatically coming here. Just enter the brace. You give the name of the function. Let's say I'm giving the function. I'm just trying to make a standard way of writing code. I'm giving fn to denote function total sales amount. This is my function name. I'm copying this function name, coming to the controller, and I'm giving inside the function name that function name, fn total sales amount. Now I'm giving an alert here to show you whether my button is getting triggered or not. Once I save this out here, once I come here, once I click on this button, see my alert is working. That means the connectivity between this button to the function on the controller is working fine. Means from the button to the controller is working fine. Now, if I would like to write any code inside this, I am happy and I'm okay to write. Now, there are two conditions I asked you to set. Like the one was you can put a condition, either let's say filter out everything, any data above 3000 to display, or you can also just on a click of a button, you would like to show the like the the total price or total amount of the sales. Now, one more concept you need to just understand before going to do anything. If you would like to, so right now what we have done, we have normally binded the data here with this path. Now, there is one more way of like getting the data from a backend system, which is if you see this, I'm going to write some code here and try to explain you what exactly I'm trying to do. This code is basically called as a get call, a read call of a OData service. Right now, you are also reading the data, but you are reading the data directly without writing any code. You are just, like the OData service is loaded. Now, you have just simply bind with the entity set in this section. Automatically, the OData service is called. This is one way of calling the OData service and bind the data. But in this one, how I said is you can't be able to manipulate the data. But if you'd like to manipulate the data, how will you manipulate? If you'd like to manipulate, then you need to get the data first in your hand. Then only you can do some operation, right? If you don't have the raw data in your hand, how do you manipulate? Here you don't have the raw data in your hand. It is coming directly and binding it. But if you'd like to manipulate the data, you need to get the data somewhere, store into a model somewhere, then only you can able to use it. That's the basic thing. Now, how do you do it? See this. You go here to the controller. There is a function by default available called onInit. What is the function it is doing here? OnInit in every page, like every controller, you'd be able to see this by default one function. But this function will trigger whenever you're loading your application for the or loading your page for the very first time. Now you are in view one dot controller. Now let me load. They're giving an alert here. Now if you see, I'm giving init function alert in this. Now, whenever you are loading this page, see, automatically that function will trigger. Whenever you load this page, the init function got triggered. Irrespective of you are not clicking and doing anything, but that function will trigger. But that function will trigger only because of that is considered as your onload function, onload page function. Because see, tell me one thing. Whenever you are loading a page, business will expect to show some data, right? Because you cannot load an empty page in front of the business and then you can ask like click a button to load the data. That you can't do. Whenever they are loading the application, you need to by default you should show some data coming from backend, right? For that reason only they have given this basic standard function. This function will help you to call the data, whatever it is required to display on the first load or initial load. That's it. The on init. On init nothing but the on initial page load. Okay. Now, if you'd like to write some sort of code inside this, you can write it. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to write some code here. This code is defining how to call a how to call basically one on OData service. See this. What I have done, I have written some 4 lines of code here. I'll explain the code first. So what I'm doing is I'm written them this dot get owner component dot get model dot read and the entity set I have given, and then I have given one success and one error. So this one is the main code to call any sort of OData service. Like you are going to read a OData service with this entity set. Then you are going to just see that the OData service is giving you a success or error. If it is success, you can write some code inside this. If it is error, you can write handle the error inside this. This is a normal code or a standard code of any OData service call to read the data or to get call, you can say, to get the data. So why I have given this dot get owner component dot get model? Now I'll tell you one thing. Whenever your application loads, what I said, the first thing when the application you are loading locally, it is calling this index.html file because that is the file it is loading here, right? Now, if you see while loading the index.html, it is nothing but it is loading your entire component of your code. That component is nothing but this component.js. In this component.js, it is calling the manifest.json. This is the flow. First, your index.html loaded, then the component will load. Component will make this manifest to load. Once the manifest is load, now the manifest will ask which is the default when the OData service it is here. That OData services it will call the metadata to load the data. That means the data reference always coming from the component.js. So your data models are stored always in the core component level of the code of your application. That's why we're given the the code here is this dot get owner component, and we're trying to find out the model, the default model. When I'm not defining any model here, that means it's a default model. But you may ask me a question like you might be having a multiple OData model. So in that case, how will you call the other model? If you'd like to call the other model, like I'm having two models here, a default model and a sales model. If I would like to call the sales model OData service, I would have given here inside the colon the sales. Okay, this is how you can able to like get your OData model called. Then you're going to read the data. Once you read the data, pass the entity set, and you'll be able to get the data. Now I'll show you this with a debugging way of representing it, like how to debug this screen also. Now once I load this data, the data came. Now let me just debug it now. How to debug it? Right click on your screen, go to inspect. Once you go to inspect, go to the source section. But before going to go to the source section, I'll show you one interesting thing in network. I'll load the application one more time because as a UI5 developer, you should know the flow, how the application is loading. See how the application loads here. Let me just pass through now. If you see the network log, fast your index.html loads. Once the index.html loads, it is trying to load all the resources. See, so sap.ui.core.js should load. Now see your network log. sap.ui.core.js loaded, and it is also asking to load some of the other predefined functions. Now what it is loaded is, once it is everything is loaded, then see your application loads this manifest.json file. Now in the manifest.json file, it is defining the metadata. The metadata loaded. Once the metadata loaded, metadata only defining here which page to load first. Okay, metadata also loading the CSS file series inside the in the manifest.json file. It is loading the models. Model means the metadata and CSS file. Everything is loading inside the manifest.json. Then it is saying that boss, you go to the view one. See now, manifest.json has loaded all the like required data set, like a metadata, IIT name, all the required properties. Then it is defining the CSS also. Then it is opening the application. Once the application loaded, application controllers are loaded. Then it is just call the OData service and get the data. So that is how the flow always runs in UI5. Step by step flow. Now go to the source section. I'll put a debugger here. How to put a debugger? Always come to the source. In the left hand side, you can able to see the application code. This is my controller. Go to the controller, and this is my code. I'm going to put a breakpoint. How will you put a breakpoint? Click on the line number. It will generate a green color icon like this. It got set a breakpoint in this line. When you reload the application, I told what? On init function will load initially. Once your on init function is loading, then see it came inside the success call. Now what exactly it is doing before going to the success call, I'll put one more breakpoint as 13 number line number, and I again load this to see what it is get owner component dot get model. So if I go here, if I like put a breakpoint on 13 line number, see this. I'll just copy this code. I'll go to the console. Console is a place where you can always write and see how your application, what data it is loading, or if you like to get debug some of your code, you can always do it the console level. So I'm just pasting this one and try to see what it is there. See this. It is always trying to find out my application page with the OData service available. That means whenever you have given this dot get owner component dot get model, it is trying to understand my default model with the OData service connected to it. Getting my point? Now the code has written like it is saying that model to read from the OData service to this entity set. Once it read it, then it will go to either success or an error. It is going to success means your data will come properly. If it is going to error means it will throw some dump. Now let me see it is going to success or not. It is going to successful. Now once it is going to success call, your data from that OData service call always stores into this OData section. Now have a look of the data, copy this data variable and come here to the console and paste. If you paste it here, see the results are having the data. There are 10 data are coming from the backend service. Each data like looks like this, right? So this is your data. Now that data only by default displaying it in your list or in your table. Now this is the first time you have the data in your hand. Now what I told you, once you have the data from the backend server, what you supposed to do? You should always use a model to store the data securely that you can use anytime in your code. How will you do that? Always define Now, if you go here, once you have got the data, come back. So this is the data. It is available in this variable. What you will do is now you should define one model, and that model you should store that data. How will you do it? See this. I'm giving a variable. Variable in JavaScript denoted as var is the syntax. You can give any name to the variable. Like I'm giving my sales data model. Okay. The variable I'm giving a value. First, what I'm going to do is I'm going to define the model. This is the code to define any model in UI5. New model, sap.ui.model. The type of the model is JSON. JSON is the another type of model. Initially, I told one model is an OData model to take care of your OData service calls. The another model I'm going to talk about now here is a JSON model. JSON model is basically a type of model where it's a client side model. Whenever you get a data, that data set you can always store under this JSON model to hold it. And you can always use those data for any binding purpose or any sort of other operation or manipulation purpose. Now, this is the code to define a new model. Then, how will you set the data coming from the backend to the model? Is very simple code. The model, you are saying, hey model dot set the data. Which data to set? The data is coming from a backend service. Now, what you should do? The data is been set to the model. But tell me one thing. What generally you used to do when you used to have, let's say, I am basically a owner of a locker, and I have kept some paper or some documents inside my locker in the bank. Now, let's say I'm expecting my family members, one of them, to use those documents and take out the data from take out the documents from the locker whenever they need it. Then what I supposed to do? I supposed to give the access to them. Then only they can able to use it, right? Like either I can able to like ask the bank, hey, like bank, you just give an access to this locker data or locker documents to this family member. Then only they will give it to this random people. If they come, they won't be able to get an access, right? Now this is the locker. This is the model data you have set. Inside the locker, you have kept this document. Now this document, who will be using it? First of all, your screen, this view will be using it. If you'd like to use it at anywhere, any point in time to display something, to calculate something, to manipulate something, this this view, this page should have access to this model or not. Definitely it is required to have an access. Then only it can be able to go it. Now, how will you do it is you can say this dot get view. I'll explain it. Dot set model. You're setting the model here. Now, what you are doing in this is, let me explain. What I've written, this dot get view. What does it mean? And dot set model to this. I told you is whenever somebody from my family member want to have an access, I need to give an access to that data or the locker in the back. Now here, in this case, my page should get access or my view should get access. How will I understand from the controller that which is my view? Always remember, this is the reference of your controller. Let me just take one example. Variable, if I'm giving it any model, any variable, or I can say my I'm giving here my controller just to make you understand one thing. So this is basically is referring by They represent the entire controller. The entire controller is representing by this controller. Now you are asking, hey controller, what is my view? Get my view. What controller will do? It will just try to find out this controller is used in which view. It will automatically get an answer because this is the view which use the controller. So this is the view means view one is the view which have used the view one controller. So automatically your controller gives an answer. There, view one is the view. Then I got the view. So control, you're asking the controller, hey controller dot get view, show my view. It gives you an answer that view one is your view. Now in that view, you are setting the access. You're setting the model access. Set model. You are giving the name, which model or which locker data you need. You have given the locker name. You can given some proxy name here. My sales data, my sales document, or my like whatever you give a name. Whatever the name you want to give it. It's a nickname you can say the model to ask. So whenever in the view you'll ask with this name, it always gives you this locker data. What I did, I have created a locker. I have set some documents inside the locker, and I'm asking my house member or family member to give an access to that locker. Technically, I have created a model. I have set the data to the model. I have got the, I'm asked the controller to get the view, and in that view I have set the model, so I can use that model data anywhere anytime in that view. Okay, now I'm going to debug it and have a look of one more time what is the code I have written. See this, I'll start from here. So I'll execute this one. I got the data here. Now that data I've defined a model. This become my JSON model where the data is empty now. Locker is empty now. I've set the data to the model. The locker is having a full of data. See, now you are saying this dot get view. And you're asking controller, what is my view? The controller has given the view. The view is nothing but see view one. Now you are setting the model to this. Now this model now has the full of data. How do you get to know? Just enter this. See, this model has the data here. Now, what you did just now, you have set the data to the model. Means, when sorry, you have set the view to the model level. Like the entire data from the model would be accessed by the view. Now, in the view, if you'd like to get the model, now you have set it the model, right? What you did, you have set the model. But in the view, if I would like to get access to your data now, how will I do it? You need to get the model. Like the code would be simply, but only just changes whatever you have written. Let's say you have written is my controller, right? It is my controller. We're asking the controller. Oh, correct. Let me just clear it properly. My controller. You are asking the controller, hey controller, what is my view? Controller has given the view. Now you are asking, get the model. Which model? The sales data model. Not sales data model. You have given a nickname, my sales data. You will be using the, you will be getting the data from the mod from the view always like this. Now what it will do? It will give you the same model. And if you are asking, show me the data. See, it's shown you the data. Now what you did initially, you have set the model to the view level. Now from the view level, if you'd like to get the data, always you can write this code to get the data anytime from anywhere. I'll show you one scenario. Now, see, what I'm going to do is now we have already used one table or a list, right? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the table binding slightly. Now this is the table binding I have done. I'm not giving the entire path right this now. So that means if I remove this, the path, and I won't be able to have any data in the table. See, there is no data in the table. Now I will show you one more type of the same type of binding. If you rather not chosen to display directly like this, if you have chosen to display after you get the data and manipulate it, I have not manipulated yet. The data, whatever is coming from the backend, I'm just simply binding it. I'm simply just kept into this model. If I would like to manipulate the data, I will manipulate it later. But before that, I'm going to use this data to bind it. How will I bind it now? This is my model. Give a model name, go to the view. Here in the path, what you've defined previously, give a slash and the entity set. Instead of that, you should give it the model name greater than slash. Your data is coming like this to the backend server. Let me show you. You are getting the data from the backend server like I told you one concept. If you remember, the data, if it is coming from the backend as an array format, if it is a list of data, then you should bind as an aggregation data binding. You know very well the data is coming from a backend as a list or an array format. Now, if you how do you get to know it's an array format? This is my data, right? Always check the data. So data dot results, if I give it, I can able to understand that this is my data is coming from an array format. The array format is list of data. One, car two, car three, like that. I give an example. So data dot results is specifically denoting the list of data. So results is basically one of the intermediate variable which is by default comes when it's coming from the backend database. So what you can do instead of setting the data to the model as data like this, you can also give it data dot results. So then you can get a proper array format of data set to the model. Now this model data, the name of the model you have taken it, and then you are going to bind it. Simply the binding is only differences. Give the name of the model greater than slash as a reference to the model path. Now this model to be used in every places to do a data binding like this. What is this? I'll explain you again. See first the data is coming or not. Now we have binded the new model that we have created with the new data set. Sorry, with the existing data set variables and everything. Now I'm going to refresh the application screen and we're going to see whether the data are appearing on the screen or not. So see, the data automatically came now. So what is the difference that we have made right now? Previously, what we have done is we have just given a path of the entity set. By default, it has created a default model. And in the default model, it is just we are just simply binded the parameters. But in this case, we are not using the default model concept. We are creating my new model with my new name. That's why I have given the reference because I know that model representing the entire data now. So the model name in the path greater than slash is representing the binding here, binding path here. Like you are going to do a items data binding, is an aggregation data binding. Here, how to define aggregation data binding? The model name that you've created greater than slash is the path reference. Then how to data bind? This is the parameters you already know how to bind. These are the parameters where to bind it you already know. Now you are just giving the reference of the model that you have created because this was might not be required if you are creating a default model, but you are not creating a default model, right? Because you have given a name of your model as my sales data. Why you have given the name? Because to give your own ownership of the model that I have created, that I have given this name. But you can also set into a default model also. But always I'll refer it to go with your own identity of model. So later point in time that you can also use it, because see, there are many services would be there in one application. You cannot set every data set to your default model. One model can hold only one type of data, right? So it's better to give your unique name and store the data. That's why we have basically given my sales data name and are giving the path references with a greater than sign. That's it. Now, now if I just do one thing, this entire data come from backend. This data I have simply set to the model. I have not done any sort of manipulation yet. Now, if I go and start doing some manipulation of the data, then the twist will come. How will you manipulate the data? Now, let's assume it. I'm going to put a condition. The data set of the price is more than 3000 will only to be considered in my model. You can display all the list of data here. I don't care. But I would like to see the sales order data here in this section only more than 3000. How will you keep a conditions like this? Now see this. This will be really interesting for you who are not not very good in UI5. See this. There is a concept of an array. That concept you should learn first before you know do any sort of operations after that. Now that condition and this looping concept I'm going to show you now. So let me just give you an example. Let's say we are storing into a housing society. In that housing society, now assume it that we are storing into housing society. Okay. So in this society, we're having some houses. Let's say my house number 1, house number 2, house number 3, house number 4, house number 5, and 6. Now, I know this is my house number 1. Now, whenever you just see any sort of array, you might have seen like the array always starts from a 0. Array is always starts from 0. So array always starts from 0. So this is my 0th house. This is my first house, my second house, my third house, my fourth house, and my fifth house. But technically, if you see house number 1 to house number 6. But in array format, as always, the first object starts with a 0. Now tell me one thing. If some person came to your society and you are the secretary of the society and is asking to find it out, how many houses is anybody a doctor inside? Like, is any of these houses, you need to find out that any doctor is available in any of these houses or not. That's the question. And he wants to just give the count or like tell you like what are the houses that you have doctors. Now, if this task is given to you, what you will do as a society secretary? First, what you will do, you will come to this house. Once you come to this house, what you will ask? Hey, anybody is doctor in your house? You'll get an answer, either yes or no. Then what you will do? You'll go to the next house. What you'll do? Ask the same question. Let's say you got an answer as no. Now again you ask yes. or no? You got no. What will do again? Go to next house. Same question, same response, or different response? I got yes. Now this one, yes, no, got yes. This one, no. This one, no. So what you did here? You are going to house by house and you're asking the same question. Aren't you not doing the repeated job here? Are you not looping the same thing? You're going house and asking the same question again and again, and you're getting the response. Based on the response, now what you will do? You will be considering this house sensor. You'll consider house number 1, 2, 3, technically 2, or house number 4, or count wise 3 in the array format. You will take these two house and store into somewhere. You are saying, boss, house number 3 and 4 is having doctor. That's the answer of your task. Do you again go anywhere after this? No. Why? There is no houses there. So can I say that your task starts from zeroth house, or your task starts from first building, ends here in the sixth building, or technically your task starts from zeroth count, ends up with a fifth count. It is not going to the other count because there is no other house available. Can I say that you are doing a repeated task which can be considered as a loop, and the loop always starts from 0, ends up with 5? Now how do I know a sixth house? Because you have given me it's a six, total 6 houses there. But technically, how do you understand 6th house or 10th house? Based on the data, if somebody say the data of house dot length is 6, then 6th house. If it is coming from backend as 10, mean 10th house. If it is 100, mean 100 house. So what exactly you did it? You asked the same question again and again as a loop. Now, if I represent this task as a loop, I'm using something called for loop. For denoted. See how I'm denoting it. Variable I is equals to 0. Why I'm giving I equals to 0? I'm telling it starts from the 0th house in the first building. That I'm defining as a hard coded as 0. Then I, how many houses should run? Less than the total number of house do you have? Let's say I'm having a house. It's the array. In that I can get to know how many houses are there. So I should be less than house dot length. Then I plus plus. Bracket starts, bracket end. This is a loop. What does it mean? It means start with the first house. Let's say house number is 0. 0. Now 0, I mean 0 now. 0 less than a house, let's say 6. A less than 0 less than 6. Condition satisfied. It'll go inside the loop. Whatever the condition you'd like to do it, you will do it. Again, I plus plus means I become 1. I become 1 now. I mean 1 less than 6. It is yes. Again go inside. Then again you ask the same question in this house. I become 2. We come to this house. 2 less than 6. Again yes. Ask the same question. Do whatever you want to do here. I become 3. 3 less than 6. Ask this house. I become 4. Comes here. Ask the same question and do whatever you want to do. Then ask I is 5. 5 less than 6. Yes. Ask the same question. Do whatever you want to do again. I become 6. 6 less than 6. No. Condition not satisfied. The loop will end here. It will not go. That's it. And you don't have any house left also. This is how a loop works. Now, this code I'm going to represent it here and I'll show you. Now assume it that you got the data. Now here I'm defining it very simple way. Variable A sales data. Which is nothing but my A houses is O data dot results. I've just taken the entire data coming from backend inside one array, A sales data. Now I'm going to write the for loop. Let me write it first, then I'll debug it and show you each and every line. Variable I equals to 0, colon, I less than A sales data dot length, I plus plus, braces open and closed. Now what I'm going to do is I'll take an empty array first, a new data, or you can say a filtered data as an empty array. Let me write it and I'll just show you each and every individual line will make you understand. No worries. If number of A sales data of I dot then third dot of that's it. Your coding would be completed. Now okay, let me debug and show you entire code and try to make you understand what I have written. See, all the data are more than 3000 right now. Now I'll go to inspect and try to understand what exactly I have written. See, up to this, you already know. The twist comes from here. Let me refresh the screen. You remember what is our expectation? We should get the data, then put a condition. The data which is more than 3000, more than equals to 3000, only to be considered. From the backend database, we are getting the data like this, O data. Inside the O data, we are having O data. Dot results is having my entire data set. So what we have done is, first, we have taken the data from odata.results into a variable called A sales data. Now, A sales data is nothing but it is representing the entire data coming from back. Now, you'll be asking me a question. Why did you do odata.results? What is this results actually? See, whenever you are calling, querying any backend database, it always gives you a format of data. Now, here in the odata variable is basically defining to store the data coming from back. So in the back from the backend, the data is coming under a results variable. So O data, it was like this. So now I need to get the array. I don't care about the results variable. I need this array data. Now always remember there is a concept I told you. That concept is very important now to understand. The concept yesterday I told you is a concept of a car and a showroom. See, if you remember this one, I was talking about like a car is nothing but an object. Now, if I go here, if I try to make you remember one more time, if I say, let's say a car is having different property. One is the price, and its value is, let's say I'm giving 75 lakh. There is one more property called as, let's say model. You're right, it's also having some value. Let's say I'm giving some. It also has some, like whatever you would like to say, the type or the variant. Now, this is what it is denoting. It is ultimately denoting nothing but one of your object. Now, what I'm showing this to you is, I told object and array concept. There is a car. If it is car as an object, showroom is an example of an array. Now, how to define an object? See this. A object is always a variable. This variable, this object, always defined as, the syntax of definition is one curly braces open and close. This is to define an object. An array always represent as like variable array. I'm giving a name as A. Always square braces open and close. That is the difference between object and array. I told one array can have multiple objects inside. Now, one object, now if I say variable car, how to define the object? Starts and closed. Now here object should be having properties. Let's say there is price is a property. The value is always with a colon, semicolon. Value is 75 lakh. Again, comma. Go to the next property, model, colon. Value is Audi Q7, comma. Type is another property, colon, petrol. So this is my property and this is my value. It's nothing but this. This car is a object. The first object is the price. Sorry, first parameter of the object is price. Second parameter is basically model. Third parameter is type. First parameter value is this. Second parameter value is this. Third parameter value is this. Now, if you see here, if I denote the same way here, let's say variable car is an object defining like this. Your let's say price colon price is 75 lakh. Then I given a model. I'm given Q7. I'm given type. Value is petrol. Now, see this. Now, car, if somebody says car is having three properties, this is an object. This is an object. How I define it? Car, curly braces open and close, one parameter value, one parameter value, one parameter value. All the parameters are segregated by a comma. Right? Now, if somebody asks you what is the price of car, so the object name dot the property name, the parameter name, object dot price, 75 lakh. What is what is basically the type of a car here? Car dot type. Right? Petrol. Model. What is the model? Car dot model. So this is how you can get the details from of an object. Now, similarly, a sales data is an array. Inside that, one object is this. Now, tell me one thing. Or tell me one thing. If you see here, this is my price. This is my price. Now, a sales data is what? Is your entire array. A sales data is an array. Now, if I go to see the first object, how will I see? A sales data of first object means zeroth object. Now see, this is my zeroth object. What is my second object? A sales data of 1. Again, a sales data of other one. If you also go the same way, you can able to get that object. Now tell me one thing. If somebody asks you a question that I need to find out the fifth object of this array, what is the price? How do I get to know? Like a sales data of the fifth object dot price. That is my price. What I pass? This is my array of the object position dot the parameter that I need to get the price. That is how you can able to find out what why I'm making you to learn this one, because all the concepts are here. I'm going to use it. Now this is my sales data, the entire array. I'm going to forget about this one now. I'm going to loop this record. I told you the looping concept. I starts from 0. I know there are 10 records are going. So it will start from 0, end up with 9. So 0. I less than sales data of length. And this is my entire array. I need to run how much time? Total length. So it will be run 10 times only. Okay, I less than 10. When I is 0, 0 less than 10. Condition satisfied. Now it comes here. What is the condition I need to keep it? I need to put a condition to check the number or the price of the sales data is more than 3000 or not. How will I check? Now this is the way to get to know basically the sales sort of value. How will I check it? A sales data of, I can't hard code it 1 2 3 4 5 like that. No, it has to be dynamic. I should always give I. I is basically representing the starting position. It is a 0th position right now. I dot the price at price property is this. Now the first object, if you see a sales data, the first object has the price as 4300. Now I'm checking it. This value is more than 3000 or not. How will I check it? See, this data is coming now as a string format. It is a string. I have to convert into a number. In JavaScript, to convert into a number is give a number variable, the number function, standard function, and pass this. So that string is become a number. I can't put a condition, numerical condition with a string, right? I have to convert into a numeric. That's what I've convert this string to a number. Now I put a condition. If this number of the value of the price, if it is more than 3000 or not. Answer is what? I didn't get an answer here, but yeah, okay, let's see. If number of this property, which is nothing but the sales amount, I have given greater than and equals to. If it is 3000 equals to, also it will take it. So if the condition satisfied, it will go inside. I need to only consider if the price is more than or equals to 3000. Now what I have done is I have taken on empty array. Empty array is nothing but is an empty box. Inside the empty box, why I've kept the empty box? Because I knew very well if any of my conditions satisfied, like if I know if somebody from my society is a doctor, then I need to segregate that list into somewhere, right? Because my answer only has to be 3 and 4th house. But 3 and 4th house, I need to store somewhere, right? To tell the answer. That's why I'm creating one more empty array. Inside the empty array, I'm pushing the data. How to push it? The empty array dot push is the function in JavaScript. What I'm pushing? The object, enter object I'm pushing. So now if you see, the empty array has become having one data now. The data which is having more than 3000 as sales amount. Now again loop continues. I become 1. I become on I less than 10, condition satisfied. Again, it check condition satisfied for this as well because the amount is 7,400. Again, it got pushed inside. A filter data become two data now. Again, it continues like that. Once the entire loop is completed, then it will come out from the loop. I'll remove the breakpoint from here. Now see, A filter data is having how many data inside? There are 8 datas inside. All the datas are having sales amount more than 3,000. And that data now is the fresh data for me. And that data only I pushed inside the model. How I pushed? The model dot set data now with the new data. That's it. I have modified. Now I got the data like this, and it has been modified. Now the similar way, see this. This is one looping concept example I have given. The same way, if you would have planned to display the summation of the entire sales data here in this click of this button, is right now nothing is having. The same way you can also do it. The same concept, same looping concept. So there in this one, if you would like to create a summation of the data, what you should do? Now you are triggering to this function, this button. Now in this button, what you're going to do? You're going to also sum this entire thing. If you'd like to sum it, how will you sum? You need to again loop the entire record to sum it out, to summation of all the amount that you are getting it. The very simple way is first get the model. How I told you to get the model? My sales data is equals to this dot get view dot get model. What is the model you need? My sales data model I need, and I should need then variable a sales data is nothing but this model I got it dot get data. Similar way, how wherever you set the data, you're getting the data. So get the model first. Now get the data first. Now again you should loop the same way. Now this time the condition is only different. Here I'm taking one more variable is I total value or I total is equals to, I'm giving 0 now. Initially I'm giving it 0. Now I'll sum it up. So first the same a sales data, it will loop the record. So here if condition is not required. So I total is equals to I total is equals to I total value plus the total the value this is right now having. That's it. So the current value, it is always starts with a 0. So 0 plus the new value. Again, you continue the loop. I total will always increase. And now this one, I'm going to give an alert here. Just to show you how you can achieve.
But we can keep this same variable I total in the above loop, right? Is it possible?
Which one?
I total 0. And that, yeah, these two statements in the above loop itself, and put it in a variable and pass that variable to the total sales amount.
How do you want to do it? So I total, if I give it 0 here, this one you want to pass out of this loop. That's what you say.
Not in this, like the above functionality, above where we are
Yeah,
where
yeah,
we are catering
you can do it. You can
more
do
than
it.
3,000.
Perfect.
Okay.
You can do it. You can. I'm just telling you in a different function only because to show you how to get the data. Because there you already get the data. That's why doing it, but you can definitely do it. But I was just to show you because yeah, your point is correct. Why again I loop the record?
Yeah,
I have
got it.
already looped it. No, your question is your point is very valid actually. What C is trying to say, why you are again showing me to loop the record? I have already looped it. So C is saying like, can I not do like this? I keep this particular variable here at the top, and I can do the same function also there. Yeah, you can do it. Of course, you can do it. Now I'm just going to show you the same way, like just to show you in a different function. How can you do it? So now if you see here, if I click on this, I total got the entire value, 41,200 record. See? That is how you can able to like always calculate or whatever you would like to do it, you can do it and perform it. Now, what is the difference we have done it? We have set the model to this function. Now, whenever you're calling the same model from a different function, always remember you should get the model like this. Then you get the data from the model like this, and then you can do whatever you'd like to do. That's completely up to your hand. Okay. So now this is how you can able to manipulate the data and play with the data. That will play it again in the later point of classes also. Will show you some of the manipulations. But now I'll just show you a bit of improving the look and feel and try to make it in a more appropriate way of displaying the data. See, whenever it comes to displaying the data, there are so many companies are actually not actually expect to write so much of CSS. They expect to use the standard SAP theme. Some of the companies they used to like to apply some sort of CSS for a representation of data in a proper way. So the look and feel also has to be in a better way. If your company is not interested much to uh, like use CSS, then you need to use the same vanilla flavor of representing the data. And if your company is expecting to display in a different way, I will show you some of the techniques of how we can display in a data in a like both the ways, like with a CSS or without CSS, in a very quick manner. Like let me show you some of the controls. Now what I'm going to do is I have all the data available in my hand. I'm going to just command this button first. I'm commenting it control shift slash, or you can comment like that. This laptop, whatever they have given, thinking slash not working. Just a second. Okay. Is you have to use it for commenting any code here. Just use control and the slash, not backslash, the proper slash. And again, the same way you can will do like uncomment it. I'm talking about this one. Control this one. Okay. Some of the systems, like if the control doesn't work, you need to use function control or function shift control. But my system, it is accepted control slash only. It is not. I was thinking like it will be taking a control shift also, but it is not taken. So what I'm going to do is now, I'm going to just comment this code. This one I commented. From this to this also I'll comment it now. Okay. This list also I'm commenting now. Now my page will be entirely blank, right? Now I'm assuming it. Yeah, this is my data, and I know how much data it is coming and how many properties are there. Based on that, we'll choose it. Now let's say we got an options to display the price the person has created, the sales order number, or some of the parameters also. This also will give it. Now see, there are different approaches when it comes to design. Now, once I say there are different approaches and design, like can be applied whenever you are planning to show any sort of data. The first approach is a very common approach that everybody follows, is a table approach that you have already seen. If you are okay with to display the table approach, you can display it. There is nothing much CSS you should use it there in the table because it can breaks your other functionalities. So we'll not mm, like use anything in a table format because table you already know. It's a normal table. It can consist of your data, and that would not will not going to change anything. Same way you'll display it, your table columns and whatever it is right there. That should be one representation of it. Now I have also taken one more example where I have given a list of data. My entire page was there like this, and I was just used list items, different list items like this. But the problem, this list item, I'm having some data here, some text, some description, some price. But my entire gap is there, which might not looks good in terms of your design perspective. Again, here's some data, here's some data. There's a big gap that I'm not utilizing it. Now, when you talk about a design perspective, this 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 may should display. If I think of building something, I should have think of building something like this. If I would have got this opportunity to build it, this is my screen. I know this application to be displayed in two different modes. One should be for three different modes. One should be my mobile, one should be my tablet, and one should be my desktop mode. Once it come to a desktop mode, I should have displayed these things in a small box like this. Like, and if it comes to a mobile screen, it should automatically responsive enough. It should come like this. Like, when it comes to the tablet, I would also take a try to make it to be adjusted like this, a bit bigger in size. That should be the approach I would have followed if I would have got this opportunity to display. Now, how do you display like that? Let's understand that. So this is something called my data set. If I go here and if I write something called, there are so many controls are available. See, there is something called grid layout, CSS grid list. There are so many are available. You see this, a basic example for grid. See, see, up to you how you would like to display. See, this will make more sense of your design. Now, as an example, if I just copy some of the code from here and use it in a grid and try to show you how it looks to this. So I'm going to take it, a grid. let me take it with an example properly. Info layout or something. Say this is also having a proper boxes. I'm going to show you one small. So I'm going to take a piece of code. I'm just simply copying it and pasting it, just to make you understand a few more things here. So I know there are a few more properties I've already taken. I have commented everything. At the last, I'm going to use it the grid. But see, once I have used it, there's some problem. What is the problem? It is coming so many of red lines now here. So what I have done, I'm not sure. Like, let's see what exactly the wrong went here. So once you copy any code, remember one thing: to copy all the supported libraries are available. What is the supported libraries mean? If you're very new to UI5, whenever you're simply copying the code without understanding, it will be creating a weak problem for you. See, I told you UI5 is nothing but it provides you a set of libraries, and those libraries will help you to support that particular UI element. Now there are different type of libraries are available. Now first one, the example of a button, if you have taken that SAP button is powered by SAP.aim library. AIM stands for mobility. Now this one, this grid, when you see the grid example itself is showing it is belongs to SAP.UI.layout library. Means this library you have to include in your code. If you have seen the other libraries SAP list, it was SAP.aim library. Now it didn't give you an error. Why? Because in your application source code, by default SAP.aim library is loaded. That's why it didn't give any problem. But if you'd like to load this one grid layout, you have to use the new library, which is basically the grid library. I have copied the entire code, but while copying it, I missed to copy this library to load. That is why it is creating a problem for me. I've copied this library. I'll go and add at the top of my page. After SAP.aim, I added. I'm going to add this now. This one, I'll copy from here. I'll paste it here. Now see, all my errors should gone. It's not yet actually. Now let me show what exactly went wrong. One second, let me see anything I have missed out here. Has the library? Yes, it has the library. Let me keep it at the top and see what exactly. Oh, it is showing that there is no ID available for that. That's what it is. An error. You can just define a normal ID for grid. Now, what are the properties are not showing? Like it is showing there is no ID specified. Now, see one thing. It is ID. It is asking for an ID only because of there is something. There is called a flex enable. It's a property. It has been by default enabled in the manifest.json. If you are not comfortable to give ID in every places, what you should do is you should just turn off this flex enable. It is in true mode. You need to just make it false. If you make it false mode, then ID is not required to give in every place. Now, what is the flex enable mode is? It is basically it represents all the it's one of the dependency comes in the flex like of UI5. It is whether it is like flexible is something which is indicating whether that application control that you're going to use it, like it will be while runtime that particular component, it won't create any sort of problems. That's what the flexible is a property as always enabled as true for the like reforming your controls properly, like whenever it is compiling it, it will be make more sense of understanding with the id and everything. It will be generate some dynamic id. If you're not providing any id, then it will try, it has to runtime generate some id for you. So that's what it is just given as true by default and asking to give id every places. But if you are going to ignore it, there will be no problem, you can ignore any time for that. But now if you just go to your code now, it won't create any problem now. Now, if you see your code, forget about the binding part right now. I just remove the binding. I simply running the application. You might have seen some of the design, it will come now. One second, nothing came now. Oh, I think there is all the things are actually I mean, all data bindings are there. That is, I have removed the data binding. That's why nothing came actually. That's okay. Let me just do one thing. I'll bind our data with our own properties right now. There is no data came yet. Okay. So I'm going to use this right now. See this. First, let me just add one small design image. Right? So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take one icon from outside. Different way you can do it. Either you can just take a download this entire icon. That might be one approach of doing it. Or you can also like if you'd like to give a link from somewhere, that also okay. But always go with the approach where you can download this in your screen. You can download this. I'm just showing you one way of doing it. So I'm copying the image address just to show you one here. So I'm giving instead of the source, I'm giving here the link and I'm giving here some data here. Sales order number is 1 2 3 4 5 6. Then I'm giving it name created by XYZ Bit Limited. I've just given a simple hard coded value to it. Okay. Now I have hard coded the value for a reason. Okay. So my data here, and I'll just execute. See how it came. It came very big in size, and this, which definitely not looks good, right? Now what I'm going to do is will simply make it much better in terms of design. So I'm just opening this one and just trying to load all the data as a reference that how what are the data and what are the fields it is coming. So now if you see here, I'm going to write some CSS right here now. This is what I have done. I have taken simply one grid. this grid is having an image and basically you are having a VBox. Inside the VBox, there are something inside, two texts are there. It comes like this, but definitely you don't like the design. Why don't like the design? Because the image is very big in size. Now I'm just going to resize the image to a proper format. Now this is the image I have. I'm going to give some width as 60 pixels. Now if I do that, I have seen like there's a big gap still available here. Now what I'm going to do, arrange this properly. I'm removing this width 100%. I'm giving this width as 60. Okay. Now let me run this. Now what I'm going to do is the same content. Again, I'm copying it one more time down just to show how the continuity is coming. Then we'll apply our actual CSS to make it proper. Now I'm giving one more. Now let's see. So now what you can see is the thing is it is getting dip. It is not properly representing here. Now how we can represent it in a proper shape and proper way of doing it. See here the box. This is one. This got changed like that. This got also changed like that. How do you manage it? So if you to manage in a proper design, I'm going one step ahead and trying to make you understand. There is one more control available, which is having the legacy to give any sort of design for you. That is called as custom list item. I always prefer as a developer to make it the use of this when it comes to proper designing concept. By default, it is having this. By default, it is having this custom list item. I'm copying this custom list item. Instead of copying again and again like this, I'm simply removing everything and I'm going to give this custom list item. This image link, I'll keep it. And then I'll remove the entire images also. And then what will I do is in this attachment icon core, instead of this photograph, I'll give that image icon. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just give some name. Text here, sales order number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Forget about this link. I'll going to give a normal text, no link and all. And this also I'm giving some text as 3,400.00 USD. Simply I've given the hard coded value. Let's see how it looks. Throws an error. 1 second. The custom list item. Hbox, Bbox, text.
I think we have to define the core namespace.
Yeah, that you are correct. Yeah, it's a good point. See, I have defined an icon, but I have not added this one, the core namespace, the correct one. I have to copy this and have to use this. Now, if I go there, so I got one small cut, but my icon is not put, which is okay. I'm still okay with that. Let me just see whether it is not put. But if you see the design standard one, whatever you have used it, that didn't work properly. Just I have modified into a custom list. Now, if I paste this custom list one, this icon which is not loaded here, what will I do is I'll simply go to this icon order. I'll save this out now. We'll keep somewhere icon. Okay. And you can use any of the SAP's icon if you'd like to. But if you'd like to add something from outside, what you can do is this is your web app folder. Here you can create one more folder as images. Once you have created the images, you can always upload some of the uh, like if you'd like to have some sort of icons to be quoted and where I can.
It is in day 3.
Perfect. So let me just give in here that the images folder. So my path is images slash icon.png. What I can do here is sometimes if you are giving it the path, sometimes in your application it won't work. Then you should have to use your CSS to give the path properly. So I have given icon.png. Let's have a look whether it is coming or not. Just taken 1 minute just to be confirmed. We'll use any of the SAP's icon and confirm whether it is properly taken or not. Yeah, this is taken properly. So if you face sort of a problem like this, what you can do is if it is not taking it like this, you can refer to a class like icon in a CSS, and you can go to the CSS folder and that define the class here. Inside the content of that, you can always give the URL path of the icon. This icon.png. So I'm giving an important to make this load. Try to have a look of this. it is showing here that you can't add. Okay, so if we can't add icon like this, if the start giving an image, it as a pixel. Have a look. That it is moving. Okay, so it's not loaded fine. So now what you can do is what I'm trying to say here. It become a box of of data. Now we can put some CSS top of it. But now the second thing is how do you do a dynamic data binding in this? Right now it is a hard coded data, right? So remember one thing: when it is a grid, it is having basically multiple content. Content is basically here. Content is nothing but basically here your binding. So what you can do is you can do a content binding like this. The same way how you're binded here, the same binding, use it and apply top of content. And how you have binded, let's say this is your sales data, sales amount, sorry, sales order number, bind it properly. You have a sales amount, bind it properly. And you also have the currency coming as the currency field. What you can do is you can also use the currency field here to bind. Now, if I go back there, just bind it. Then let me refresh the screen. What you can see is right now that you are having one more 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 records are coming. Eight records are coming dynamically properly, but okay, but the image is not loaded. Okay. Any sort of problem with the image to you. So let me give it a size properly there as well. Style as 60 pixel colon.
Here, important means what does it mean?
What important means you like it is you are giving a the preference to take this. Sometimes if the standard SAP is trying to ignore it also, you are telling no, you should consider this as a priority to take. Sometimes you are see, whenever a UI5 application loads, it loads with its own CSS also, right? Because the libraries are also made with some sort of CSS. Now, when it comes to overwriting of CSS, let's say as an example, I'm just try to give an example to you. This one, if I just like this particular text, if I take, see, SAP text is having its own set of CSS, which is loading from the library side. Now, you want to give this one as a blue color. You want to give a blue color like this. Okay. And you want to make the size as 15 pixels. And you want to make it font to it as bold like this. Okay. Now, the point is here, it already have some CSS. Now, you are going to also modify some CSS and I'm going to give a margin from bottom as 1 pixel like this. Now what I can see here is I already have a CSS, and what I did just now is I was just overriding the CSS, which is not correct. What I supposed to do is I supposed to create one more trace CSS for that CSS class. I'm giving it sales header text. Now I don't need all these things. I need only 4 things to be modified. Now, if I do this, if I apply this, it should work. Instead of this one, I'm applying one more class. Now, this class, what I have done is, it is basically overriding the standard class with this color, but standard class color is black. Font size is something different. Font weight is something different. But sometimes it will not expect or it will not accept your new class that you have created. It will try to enforce their own standard class. Now, at that time, if you would like to also put some sort of extra like importance, then your class would be taken. It happens sometimes. So important is something to take a priority of that instead of whatever is currently running it. Getting my point?
Yeah.
Now, if yeah, now if you see this design, though I'm having some empty screen. Now in this design, why I have chosen this layout is just to show you here. It is having a default L6, M6, and S10. What does it mean? Always, whenever you run any application, it cuts your screen into different spaces. Like if it is an L screen, the landscape of your size is bigger. L size, large size. It will split out into two section. Like your two items would be displayed like this. How it is displaying 1 and 2. If it is a medium screen, also 2 screen. And if it is small screen, also 10. As per my design, I was saying I need. I thought I'll be giving two here, but I looks like it is two is like not looking good. I want to make it three for this, two for tablet, one for mobile. So for that changes, a simple change. L has to be 4. 4 I have given, and this I'm giving as 12. That means always remember whenever you are designing something, 12 is the maximum size of your landscape. Like 12 is the maximum width. Whenever you are giving 12 by 2 into 6, it becomes 6. Means the 12 means one line item break into 2. 4 means it break into 3 shape now. It will be having 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. If I would have given 12 here in the large landscape, it will be having a single line item. See this? Means the entire size of your box is 12. That's a 100% screen. 12 by 6, retail 12 by 2, and 50%, 50%. That means 6, it would be here, like a not medium screen, it will be 6. 12 by 3, it become 4. That means there will be 3 line item each. That is how you can also plan it. Now, if you plan again to be considered a very small size, you can again give it like your instead of 4, you can also give it 2. Then 6 pieces will come in a single one. That will not looks good to you. It will be looking very dull. So always better to go with not 14, it will be 4. Sorry. Okay, this is how you can normally design any of your screen. I have not added much CSS. I have simply added one single CSS, and for the images I have given it. But that's the only CSS I have added. But still, it is looking much better than the old design that you have created. Right? Now let me just come out from here. Now, sometimes, some cases. Now you'll be asking me a question. Now, why you have chosen custom list item? I have chosen a custom list item for a reason. The reason is sometimes they'll ask, boss, I need to add approve and reject button top of your screen. Now, approve and reject button is something if you'd like to add a button with a design. Sometimes all the other list items will not support to add custom buttons properly. So I have used custom list item always for a reason like where you are having a flexibility to add any sort of controls inside that. Now, today, if they're asking to add 2 more buttons, what will I do is I'll go here to the view. I know this is my H box. H box is nothing but the horizontal box. But now I'm going to create, I'm redesigning it. See this. I'm giving a V box. V box means the vertical box. V box open, V box closed. Now I'm going to add two buttons here. That two button, I will take it in an H box. Giving text as approved. Type as accept. This one I'm giving as reject. Type as reject. Now have a look of the design. So I have the approve and reject button there, but it not looks good, right? What you can do is now it's your game to write CSS. See, it is having a big space now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use some sort of small like easiest CSS. This is the H box. As a designer, I feel like this has to push up a bit. So that means I need to give it margin bottom as 10 pixels. If I give it, it will not work. Then how to twist it? Margin top, you can give minus 10 pixels. So it will automatically push it up. I have pushed up to this, which is okay, but you give a gap also, margin bottom as 5 pixels. Now, what you can do is, this is the base of the edge box, and you can also give it margin left or 10 pixels because you are expecting to display, or you can also give it up to this, up to you. 92 pixel I've given. Now, this is the base you have created for the edge box. I'm copying this CSS, going to the screen, applying the CSS here, dot edge box for approval. Edit the CSS, keep the CSS class, go to the view and apply it here. Now I'll use some standard class also. I need this standard class to be also used in this reject button because the reject and approve button are totally, there is no gap in between. So I'll give a class and I'll give a small margin button at the beginning of the reject button. So there will be gap between the approve button and reject button. Now have a look. See, approve and reject, but looks like my it is also still not looking very promising. Let me just have a look of this. This one, I think it has to push it a bit up and it has to be here. It will be proper aligned. Now I've copied and adjusted a bit each box approval. Now I'll go here and I will just modify the CSS to that. Okay. Now a small twist. I can see like if I give a bit border or box shadow to the CSS to the box, it will look much better. I mean, the entire list item that we have in this list item, this is a list item, right? In this list item, we supposed to give it like a quick box shadow. Here, this is the standard class of this box shadow. What I'm doing is applying some color. I'll make you understand. No worries. See, there are four I've given 0 pixel, 0 pixel, 0 pixel, 0 pixel. Why? There are 4 directions: up, down, right, left. Box shadow means you are applying some. See this I have given, it become right section. And the color I have given 0.5 means slightly black color. Now if you see, I have given 3 pixel means it has taken the left hand side, right hand side. Now see, it has taken the down. It has taken some sort of shadow now. And now the shadow is more in deep. Now again, it depends upon how you'd like to give it. It's completely up to your call. In these things, again, it comes to the choice of the developer, how they want to make it, how deep they want to make it. Like if you'd like to make it more shadow like this, up you can increase the shadow. If you are not liking to have much shadow, 1 or 2 pixels enough for you, that you can put it. There is no rule. First of all, it is available for anyone. You can give it up to your choice. Okay. Now I just given this just to show you. Like you can, if you're liking it, the color if you're seeing much darker, you can give it to 2 or 3 also. Like see, 9 or 10 is the maximum of this, and if you're giving, see, 0.000 is nothing but representation of a black color. You can see it here. It's up to you how you'd like to use it. Okay, it's completely up to your call. Now this is the standard CSS class. Now I can't use a standard CSS class and change it, because if I change it, it will be applied for everywhere. It won't looks good. Now what are we supposed to do is, instead of that, I'll paste the standard class. No worries here. Then how to make a custom class out of it? Here is. I have added only one property. So this property only I have added. Now I'll create a new class called as sales item, sales order item. Now this class I'll apply. Before the standard class, I have given a custom class. Then this custom class I'll apply onto the sales order item, custom list item class. Yes, that's it. Go there and see whether it is added or not. If it is not added, not taken properly, it is taken properly. So this is how you can represent of your data. Now what you can do is you can enable your page header that yesterday we have make it false. Now this time we have going to make it true. And this title in the I-89 we have maintained. Let's see what is the title it is maintained. Let's say maintain as, let's say I need to media sales order title. So I'll go to the view, instead of title, I'll give it sales order. Now let's have a look. List of sales order. This is your record. Now see how we have started. The screen, I think I have taken up another application as a copy just to show you. So this is initially we have taken one list of data, and that list of data we were displaying some sort of information. This is the first look, and this is the after modifying it and designing it. This is the like the last. This is how you can represent. Definitely, you can see the richness of the application improved in terms of choosing the right templates in the right place. Now, if you have any questions, let's go ahead. Then in the like now, what I'll have plan is, because I've just shown you some of the examples to it. Now in our upcoming classes, we'll use some of the controls and We'll try to improvise that way also. We'll do some operations and we'll show you. At least you got, I mean, at least whoever is not at all from the Fury background, for them, I try to make it much simpler to understand at least the basics and how it works and what is the possibilities. I can understand that only 3 or 4 days you won't be able to expert in writing coding. I know that. But at least I'm trying to give you the possibilities way of writing code, either as a drag and drop properties or writing from where you can choose it. At least the basics you are able to get it. Like I know something is there in front of me that I can go and find out some of the controls. While using those controls, and I need to take a look of the code here, properly take it here. Sometimes I can drag and drop also, because these things are also available in your layout editor mode as well. So I've just tried to give you a basics about the JavaScript and the normal data binding concept and the approaches of creating model and playing with the model with some for loop and conditions, and try to just show you a basic concept on that. So in the next class, we'll do a small operation, then we'll deploy the application in the Fury Launchpad. So for the next class, be ready with one small thing. So here, just guys, you should be going to your sub account. Once you go to your sub account, in that sub account, you need to enable one more service called as work zone and site. Please just do that for me, because in the next class we'll show you and deploy the application and bind with the Fury Launchpad. So do one thing, come to your sub account. Inside the sub account, go to the service and marketplaces. Once you go to the service marketplaces, inside that, there should be a service called as work zone service, named as work zone service. In this work zone service, SAP build work zone standard edition. Please click on create and create an instance for that. Okay, please select a service plan and create a standard service plan. Once you have created this service plan, then what you have seen is when it is created, it will come the instance inside your instance and subscriptions as SAP Build Workzone Standard Edition. Now, after creating this, go to the users section. Once you go to the users section, again click on here. You should come to the role assignment section and assign yourself with this all Launchpad admin, Launchpad theming, Launchpad external users, and assign the role collections to your user ID. Once you have assigned it, then again refresh your entire landscape one more time. Once you refresh the entire landscape one more time, you should come back to the standard edition of the work zone, which will be available in your instance and subscriptions. Once you come there, after that, what is supposed to do it? You should select this work zone service. It will take you to the Fury Launchpad creation site, where you can create different sites, a Fury Launchpad for your trial account. See, then you should click a site. Click a site. You can give it any name. Fury training site. Click on create. Once you click on create, it will automatically create a site for you and given a link for you. Once you click on the link, you would be able to join. Just jump back to the Fury Launchpad. Once you come back to the Fury Launchpad, here you can configure multiple apps. Just please do that configuration for us. It's very easy. I'll keep this as an assignment only. I'll not give you any document, because I wanted to make you understand that you guys have learned or not. Always concepts, as I told you, whenever you activate any service instance, go from the service marketplace. Listen it very carefully. Take it from the service marketplace. Some point in time, that service won't be available in the service market. If it is not there, always come to the left hand side entitlements. Might be that service is not entitled to your sub account. Go to the entitlements and add the service to your sub account. Then it will be part of your service marketplace. But in that case, it will be there anyway.
you should go to this business applications, sorry, business workflow and site management, like work zone, you can say work zone. This work zone and standard edition of work zone. Create this. Once you create, the instance will be created here. Once the instance is created here, go to the user section, assign the roles to you, then come back to this site. But make sure you have refreshed the screen. Otherwise, it will be showing the some error actually. Refresh the screen, come back here, open the Launchpad service, and just create a new site with the name of a Fury training site, and then come back to this. That's it. Only a few steps I've given. Then we'll deploy the application. We'll be configuring into a Launchpad, and we'll try to show you what is the configuration, how you can create a tile catalog, how you can create a role assignments. All those things will be very interesting actually, because things are getting changed into cloud. On premise also I'll show you. I'll also show you in cloud, because cloud people are most people are not knowing it properly. How you can create an application, tile, catalog, group, how you can manage those. We'll be explaining all those things. Also, we'll be explain about the theme designer also in this. Then we'll be creating some other type of applications as well. Okay, that should be more or less the agenda of the next week to plan.
This is called central launchpad.
This is called the central launchpad. Yes.
Okay.
Like everything. Now, if you are getting a project from your customer on the BTP, now this particular job is nowadays managing by the BTP developer only. It is not going to be given to the your security team, where the launchpad, sorry, on-premise launchpad in PFCG role, all those things, our security team used to take care. No, here you need to only take care. Now, whenever you will be creating a new role, that role also would be available in your BTP in the role section. That roles you can allow to maximum number of users to give an assignment. All those things I'll show it to you. It will be really interesting, because now this kind of this everything would be managed by you only in the BTP.
Okay. Okay. Here is security person not included.
Not required. Not required here. Yeah. As a BTP member, I'm trying to, like, I don't know, like if some companies they are still saying like no, this role also comes under security, but no, it is not a security role also, because security you can only manage it. But if they are not given you the access, they have just blank you the entire security part, then you can't do anything. You're getting my point. If they have given you a simple developer role for the sub account, then you can't do it. You have to ask them to do it only. Getting my point? What you can
Yeah.
do it, but the role creation will be in your hand. You only create the role, but then you will tell like this is the role I have created, boss. Go to the role section and assign these roles to this many users. Getting my point? Like yeah, if I'm giving it one role here as let's say Z Fury training. Now under this role, I can add multiple groups catalogs, here in this section. But I'll show you that later how to add it on those things. But if I just now go here and refresh the screen, the custom role that I have created, the Z role that I have created, that will be now part of your role section. That will be centrally managed in the role section and role collection. Now see, here the Fury training is the role I have created. Now I'm going to the role section. I'm searching this role. See, in
Yeah.
this role, you can play around with part of the role collections and assign some members to the role collection. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. It is having so many other options also. This is the site management, and this is for the entire launchpad configurations. Like if you would like to add multiple apps to it, you can do it. Like whenever you are deploying the application, no, that applications you can also integrate in this section and create a new applications also. That will also see. And then some of the configuration in the settings section, where you can download the entire log of this. You can set up some notifications, aliases, security headers. So no site conversion, identity provisioning. Those some of the settings it is available to manage your site, and then you can export it. You can modify some of the things. Those things will come actually. It is
So,
physical site. Yeah.
So, Rahul, I have one question.
Hmm.
Here, like, let's say, like the role creation, everything happens in the BTP. So, in on-premise system, if like in the existing Fairy Launchpad, we create a catalog group, and then we'll assign that catalog in the backend PFCG role. So, right.
Hmm.
So, in this case, is it going to be different in BTP and in the on-prem
It,
system, or is it we can reuse
no.
whatever we have?
It's not different actually. It will be really fun. See this. How we used to do it? We used to do it in the admin site of the Fury Launchpad, right? Here
Correct.
also, you'll be creating an app. Okay, you can give any name of the app. Then that app, once you created the app, what you will do is you will again create one catalog. You will be mark that app under the catalog. Now you'll be creating one more group. You'll mark that
Mm,
catalog under the group. That is how you used to
correct.
do it, no? The
Yes,
similar also,
in the
yeah,
yeah, in the back end, right? In the in the
yeah,
Fiori
on premise.
admin side. Yeah, on
Here
premise.
also you'll be doing the same way, only the interface is different, but the concept both are same.
Okay, but my question is like whatever we are doing it in BTP,
Hmm.
same will get replicated in the
No,
on-prem system.
no, never.
Okay.
How it will replicate? Because it's to a
And
different site,
uh,
no? It's a BTP, it's a different landscape, and on premise is a different landscape. It won't be actually.
okay, so from a customer perspective,
Hmm.
customer either they have to choose BTP
Correct,
site, the SAP work zone, whatever it is. Otherwise, the on-prem the Fiori admin FLB launchpad, right?
correct. You're correct.
Yeah, they can't both mix and match will become
Yeah,
a tedious thing, right?
right. You're correct. They have to choose it
Okay.
where they want to host your application, either in a BTP launchpad or their on-premise launchpad. Whatever they need, that we can provide.
Okay. Thank you, Raghu.
Yeah.
Rahul, one thing here, business, why not using this central launchpad generally? Because I am working some project, but still is central launchpad not using. Just we are using the same URL based style we have created on that.
Oh, you know, you're saying like your question is like they're not using the central launchpad, they're using URL based as a standalone app. That's what you're saying?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, only because of I told you, no, because whenever you are activating any new service, because if you always need to just check the cost perspective actually. So if you go to discovery center of your launchpad, that one it require cost every users, and along with our site visit also costs are there. Like adding or enabling one portal or this launchpad site, it includes and it requires some cost, and the cost is not very small in amount. It is a very good healthy amount actually. If you are planning for 500 users to roll out, you need to pay some bit amount actually. So might be they are not ready to pay that amount right now. That's what they are not enabling it. But if you enable it, then definitely you need to use this site. It's a good one to use it. So if you see here is work zone. Search here. There is a service available. So now this is a part of our free tier. But when you'll be using your actual account, so if you go with the CPA licensing, so if you see the price, no, so 125 euro for 100 users. Per after that, up to 500 users, 1.25 euro per users, and then it will be having some sort of connection blocks and the site visits also. Getting my point? So these amounts they need to pay, otherwise they won't be able to use this service in a production system or a paid version of the system. If your company is not willing to pay this amount, they have to go with a standard. Because in our company also we used to do that. It's choices actually.
Okay, but I'm coming this space and pages. Where is coming this uh, in picture? Space
Space
and
and
page.
space and page concept would be coming. Can you please make sure me like whether you are using BTP page and spaces or you are using it on the on-premise?
I'm not getting you.
Like you are talking about this page and space concept on the on-premise system or the BTP system?
Both system.
Yeah, see, page and space is nothing but it is a concept which is replacing this group and catalog system. You know, like group
Uh-huh.
and catalog is basically group. Previously, it's a very previous concept of group and catalog. Under one group, you can add multiple catalogs, right?
Tiles.
That's the
Yeah.
concept we already know. Now they are replacing this the concept, the naming also. The concept they are going to give a page and space. Space is nothing but the group. Under one space, you can add multiple pages, but the page is representing the catalog here. Getting my point?
Okay.
That's the concept.
Hmm.
But technically, nothing difference. Only like you will be able to see the latest like S4HANA system where this page and space concept would be coming. There would be some applications to be enabled in the standard Fury side where you can able to manage and create different page and space. How we generally used to create I mean catalog and this one that only you can use it. I'll take you through this one as you take the point. I'll while configuring the Fury Launchpad, I'll show you the possible some examples with the page and space. That will be really useful for all of you because that is the concept is going to come hereafter in the S4HANA system.
Yeah, yeah. It's going this concept. Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, correct.
Rahul, one more question. Now, from a customer perspective, let's say we have let's customer says an S4 they are running on the entire business on S4 HANA system and they have everything, and either to use the BTP thing or using the Fairy Launchpad that comes with the S4 HANA. It is matter of customer decision whether they want to go with the on-prem infrastructure or the infrastructure provided by SAP, that is BTP or something like that. It is just like that, right? Other
Yeah,
than
it's
that,
just
is there any other advantage or the benefits to consider either to use this SAP Build Workzone or FLB, which is on the on-prem?
it is the SAP Build Workzone. This is the standard edition. Guys, just remember this point. This is a standard edition. SAP Work Build Zone, Build Work Zone, and that is having an advanced edition. That advanced edition creates the difference. It is more costly in terms of the price. But if you see the feature point of view, like if you just see, let me just take you on Work Zone. Yes.
So we have two variation,
Yeah,
standard and
yeah,
advanced.
yeah. Advanced. This advanced edition they have not given under any free trial or free trial. You have to be only available in the production and this paid version of it. In this, if you compare the site differences, it is having something crazy actually. If you see the look and feel of that, the type of design if you are expecting to make it in this, it is having something different type of experience altogether, which might
More
not be
more of a
happen.
more of a website design,
More of
right?
an website design. You can customize it. Like the SAP was selling the point of SAP 3.0, Fury 3.0, SAP upcoming things where you can able to create kind of a site-based design. So it is almost kind of a flavor of that, where like you can able to create like a website how you generally have, you can add play some video out of it, give some bookmark link into it. So this is completely a separate like topic, and it the problem is like it won't be able to. It will be not be available for any developer for using the free trial or free tier account. So that's the problem. But the thing is like this is something crazy, and this is something having more advanced in terms of the feature as well. Okay, so if again coming to the point that you're talking about, yes, it is completely up to customer choices and decisions. But if you're comparing any extra features this particular site is giving it, top of that, yes, it is giving this advanced feature of like your, and this will make some sort of differences in terms of the user experience. It is
Okay.
something really crazy actually.
Okay, that comes with the cost factor,
Correct,
the
correct,
price the company is going to invest.
right, right. You're correct. And it is also it is not like it is very tough to be configured. It is very easy to configure. You need to each and every block you need to just how normal website we used to design, no, in our in your website tool. that you're going to add one more block into it, give a header of that. It is very easy. Does not require any coding and all. You will create the block. You can write your whatever you want to write it. Give some shortcut link. It is basically like how we used to do some website, free website setup in any of our hosting channel. Like it might be a let's say anywhere in any of the website hosting channels. It will be similar like that. It will be giving you flexibility in that way only. Like just create a header like this, save it, add one more block to it, like this. It's very easy to do it. Not like it is very tough to do it. You need to have some good quality of images, okay, taken from your company, and it has to be like responsive enough to be designed and loaded properly. Those things you need to be correct. Then after that, again, your Fury apps will be like that only. Like everything is same, only top of it you're customizing it. Getting my point? The Fury tiles, everything will be same. But top of that, you can give some headlines, some offers are coming, or some sort of, let's say, give hyperlinks you're giving it. There will be an admin side where you can configure all those things. Once your admin is configuring it, everybody can able to see it. And if they want to ignore it, they can also ignore it. Those features they have. Okay, so
Okay.
there
Okay.
should be advanced editions. There are so many tutorials also available. If you guys are getting any opportunity to work, but frankly speaking, I didn't got an opportunity till now to work on this advanced side because of the cost factor and the other things. But as it is not available in the free tier and free trial account, you're unable to use it also.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I think
In
getting an
SAP build,
opportunity to.
yeah, SAP build is we are showing a demo purpose application. Is this the
Hmm.
same or?
It is also a same, but the problem is they didn't create any demo version of URL also at least to have a look how it looks one and how you can go at least see a flavor and show your customers to show it. I haven't seen anywhere they have given they have given some tutorials where you can see how to work with that and how to like there are some SAP blogs are there. Now the images like if you follow this, you can able to configure one system. But the problem is like you need to have something. They have given like you can download all the images, blah blah, all these things at here. Then you go to the admin site, get a new workspace, add the workspace title, put the images. Add the workspace title, put the images like that, and it will be automatically creating the blocks for you. And at the last, your workspace would be looks like this. That's the that's how it is. But you won't be able to have any place where you can practice it. That's the problem.
Finding a
I have,
customer to to learn, it's
Yeah,
difficult.
that's true actually.
Yeah.
I hard like there are few more flavors is going to come top of it. Like the S4 HANA flavors, they are going to bring it up. What they have already promised in the last few decade back, like they can, they can completely customize their launch pad, their colors, their backgrounds with the help of their meeting invitation. Those things are about to come, but not yet I have seen. But they said like they will be coming something with this advanced mode of this work soon.
Rahul, regarding application SAP Fury application extension, uh, side by side or in build. But I'm looking now. This is in BAS. The adoption
Hmm.
of the template not appearing now, and
This,
I'm not sure why not appearing now, because previously we are adapt the project and then we can extend our whatever way or
hmm.
find extension point we are extending. But now that is not available option.
No. Do one thing. See, I think if you're not getting this, just try to create one more workspace, not only the Fury mode. Take it in a full stack mode.
Okay.
Then you might have seen that option. Don't take the normal mode of Fury mode. You just take out your like this one, tape space, created one more with the like full stack mode. In the full stack mode, you'll get.
Okay. I think I have created only full stack workspace.
Oh, but then it should come, no?
Okay. We have planned this course. Any extension?
Extension we have not planned, but we have some videos and some documents. If you'd like to have it, I can refer. That is in publicly available from Zapier on. we have already taken in the last few class back, like quotes back. We have the document, like the video also. We have extended one application from the adaptation project by adding some fields to it and some of the other settings. I can refer the video if you would like to have it. The same thing.
Can you
Yeah,
can you share in group? It will
yeah,
help
yeah.
for this.
I'll share it. I'll just find it out. I think mm, extension app thing adaptation. Yes. This link you can go. Okay. Go through this link. I think you can find it out. Okay. So just I'll just share the source code whatever I have created, but I have already given my accounts also to all of you. Anybody wanted to just have a look and modify something, add something, you can do it. This is the application SAP Basic Theory app. I'll take the web ID and given to all of you in the code material. Then just go through it. Then we'll just please just activate your site manager and have this account ready. Then we'll play around with it. The next one.
Yeah, Rahul, just a
Yeah.
question. So, do you have any plans to, I mean, take up as a one example to create this site tile and how to create this?
Yeah. Yeah, we'll do it in the next one.
Oh, okay, okay. We are planning to cover that in the
Yeah.
next. Okay, okay, fine. Then.
We'll be showing in both on-premise also. Whoever is not aware of the on-premise, so they will also get a flavor of it. And then the BTP also.
Okay, okay. On-premise in the sense ABAP.
ABAP, yeah.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining the session. Have a nice weekend and see you in the next week. Same time. Thank you for joining.
Thank you, Raghu.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you, Raghu. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.